and welcome to the 7th episode of Tariq's Take. I am Tariq Johnson. Subscribe for more weekly broadcasts. Getting right into it today, we are remembering the lives of civil rights icons John Lewis and C.T. Vivian. First, John Lewis, who was born on February 21st, 1940, in Troy, Alabama. Both his parents were sharecroppers, people who worked on land for their tenants in exchange for living there. He was born in the time of segregation, and he did not like that at all. The Brown versus the Board of Education ruling in 1954 did not affect his school life, and he was disappointed by that. But he found hope in Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s speeches and the act of Rosa Parks not giving her seat up and her bus boycotts. Those were the types of changes that he liked to see. In 1957, he left Alabama and went to Tennessee, where he participated in sit-ins at segregated lunch counters and non-violent protests. During these, he was unfortunately arrested. In 1963, he became the chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordination Committee, or the Big Six. They helped plan the March on Washington. He was the youngest speaker at this event and sure made a powerful speech. Take a look.
We march today for jobs and freedom, but we have nothing to be proud of. For hundreds and thousands of our brothers are not here, but they're receiving starvation wages or no wages at all. While we stand here, there are sharecroppers in the Delta of Mississippi who are out in the field working for less than $3 a day, 12 hours a day. While we stand here, there are students in jail on trump-up charges. Our brother James Farmer, along with many others, is also in jail. We come here today with a great sense of misgiving. It is true that we support the administration's civil rights bill. We support it with great reservation, however. Unless Title 3 is put in this bill, there's nothing to protect the young children and old women who must face police dogs and fire hoses in the South while they engage in peaceful demonstrations.
On March 7th, 1965, he participated in the Civil Rights March from Selma to Montgomery. This was not the prettiest protest, as the protesters were peaceful, but the police officers were not. The protesters were attacked and beaten by state troopers. Lewis was beaten so bad he suffered a fractured skull. This protest earning the name Bloody Sunday. He then left CNCC, devastated by the assassinations of Martin Luther King and Robert Kennedy. In 1968, he worked to enfranchise minorities. And in 1970, he became the director of the Voter Education Project and helped register millions of minority voters to vote. In 1981, Lewis was elected to the House of Representatives, representing Georgia's 5th district, to the day he died, and even after. He was one of the most respected members of Congress. He did so many good things for the people, like improving health care, fighting poverty, improvements in education, and fighting for voting rights. He passed away on July 17, 2020, in the middle of the Black Lives Matter movement, and got to see this generation fight for what is right, just like he did all of his life. People all over the country mourned his death, but also paid him respects for his work. On July 26, 2020, he was transported by horse for one last time over the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, where he marched on Bloody Sunday. Then, on July 27, 2020, his casket lied in state in the U.S. Capitol Rotunda. He was the first black lawmaker to do that. Last but not least, his funeral was held on July 30th at Ebenezer Baptist Church. It was a great service with the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, delivering the eulogy. And also, 42nd and 43rd Presidents of the United States, Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, spoke about the great things John Lewis did. He was 80. He died after a 6-month battle with cancer. He did extraordinary work, and he will not be forgotten. Not by me, at least. Now to C.T. Vivian, who was a minister, author, close friend to Martin Luther King, and contributor to the civil rights movement. In 2008, he founded the C.T. Vivian Leadership Institute to create a model of leadership in Atlanta. This institute creates an atmosphere where learning can take place at all stages of life. It focuses on 4 areas that are critical to success: faith, personal education, and economic development. Such a great thing to do for his community. He was 95 and died of natural causes. He was an excellent leader, and he will not be forgotten. Over 158,000 deaths and over 4.8 million confirmed cases just here in the United States. Coronavirus. But yet this president is more concerned about TikTok. But we will talk about that a little later. Let's go back to that 4.8 million and counting. It took 45 days to go from 1 to 2 million. It took 27 days to get from 2 to 3 million. And it took just 15 days to get from 3 to 4 million. Just here in the United States. The government has failed to get this virus under control and to keep the American people safe. The president just doesn't care. On August 1st, he was asked by a reporter in an HBO interview on what he thinks about the death toll, and he responded, and I quote, "It is what it is. It is what it is." That's something you say when you have no control over something and have no plan to get it under control. So that statement itself proves that he has no plan for this virus, and he does not care about it or the American people. Then we have these certain school districts who just had to open back up. I wonder who recommended that. In Gwinnett County, Georgia, school district is one of the many in Georgia who opened back up. 260 employees either have tested positive or have been exposed to the virus. Schools are not safe to open. Neither is much else. So please follow your city and state's guidelines. And if your school district is opening back up and you do not feel safe going, don't go. Protest, send an email, or whatever. Whatever you have to do to not go, just don't go. We have to get this thing under control, and opening back up schools will produce mass amounts of spreading the virus. Up next, we have burning topics you do not want to miss. The crisis in Lebanon and how you can help. Apple fire in California and how legit was the president's threat to ban TikTok. Do not go anywhere.
There's kids. There's kids. They had guns on kids. They had guns thrown on kids.
Welcome back. Lebanon. Not only did they have this explosion in Beirut Tuesday, but they are also facing the pandemic, political unrest, and an economic crisis and a famine. That explosion killing 135 people and wounding 5,000. The cause isn't still 100% sure, but there was 2,750 metric tons of an explosive, ammonium nitrate, that was stored in the warehouse. If there is any new information, it will be in the comments. But Lebanon seriously needs our help. They need food, health resources, hospital beds, homes, and ability to rebuild their lives. I will be putting donation and petition links at the top of the description. Please take some time out of your day to care for these people. They are in desperate need of help. Their trouble has been going on for some time now, and they deserve peace. Pray for Lebanon. Moving to the apple fire in California. Our environment seriously needs our help. It needs us to treat it well, or else things will get out of hand very quickly. According to authorities, more than 26,000 acres have been burned by this fire in Southern California. CAL FIRE officials say that a diesel-fueled vehicle was emitting burning carbon from the exhaust system, and that was the cause of the fire. If one diesel-fueled, I'm guessing truck, led to over 26,000 of acres being burned, we all needs to get electric cars. With the fire being started on Friday, July 31st, 2020, as of Wednesday, August 5th, 2020, only 30% of the fire is contained. If that changes significantly anytime soon, I will put the update in my comments. These fires are relatively new, and whether they are caused by an accident or on purpose, they have to stop. Although you can't really do much about an accident, you can control the response, and we need a good plan to get them under control as soon as possible. And please do not go out and start any fires. How legit is Trump's threat to ban TikTok? As many of you teenagers watching know, that Trump has threatened to ban the popular social media app TikTok twice. It's so funny and at the same time disgusting that this president is more concerned about an app rather than actually handling the pandemic. Being able to say he had a plan to stop deaths rather than saying it is what it is. Arresting murderers who are also police officers who killed African Americans for no reason. Learning how to correctly pronounce Yosemite. You know, real world problems, except that last one. So let's talk about how legitimate this is. In an article on Business Insider, Mark Rosh, a cybersecurity lawyer and former Justice Department prosecutor, says that TikTok is an app, not a product or a company. Law professors have said that it is soft and the ban would be a, quote, unconstitutional restriction of speech. Shows his wannabe dictator character. Despite the break of the Constitution to ban the app, he says, and if American company doesn't buy it by September 15th, he will ban it. I would say do not worry, because this threat has come twice now and no action, and it would take a lot of action for that to happen. But we are living in 2020 and we don't know what will or what won't happen. When we come back, we talk about the historic Splashdown, Return from Space, and healthy ways for teens to deal with any mental health battles in these difficult times. Welcome back to our last two stories, one positive, one helpful. First, the historic splashdown in the Gulf of Mexico on Sunday, August 5th, 2020. Take a look at the video.
As we're now just about 20 meters off the ocean.
SplashDown.
As you can see on your screen, we have visual confirmation for SplashDown.
So great that they got home safe from space. Moving to healthy ways teens can deal with mental health battles during this pandemic. This is really important because often society doesn't really care about teens' mental health. And in some cases, people don't see mental health as an important issue at all. But that isn't a good way of thinking. The first resource I bring to the table is a podcast by teenagers for teenagers. It's called Teenager Therapy. They focus on the fact that since this is by teenagers for teenagers, it isn't uncomfortable and makes it extremely relatable. I tell you, I have deep respect for these fellow teenagers. They could save lives. You can also visit teenmentalhealth.org, and if you know someone or are thinking of suicide, please call the suicide hotline for help. You are bigger and better than those dangerous thoughts. I will also be putting these links in the description for more resources if you or someone you know is struggling with mental health during this time. We are ending off on that.